The Royal Rumble hasn't happened yet, so we are going to do the impossible. We are going to try and book WrestleMania 41, not knowing whether The Rock will or won't be partaking in the event.
Nay, we are not going to book WrestleMania. We are going to predict what WWE are going to book for WrestleMania.
I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luco and DAD. Welcome to the WrestleTalk channel. If you haven't already, please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, leave a comment down below with your dream matches for WrestleMania. Everyone try and pick one match you absolutely want to see, and also go and thumbs up someone else's match. You're like, that's a good idea.
The one.
And maybe we can actually create a card in the comments.
I like that. Yeah, so the top comments will just be matches.
CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk versus John Cena, CM Punk versus Drew. Probably too many CM Punk. Not for this guy though.
No, I think if anything, it'll be more John Cena than it will be CM Punk.
You're a cretin.
It's not me. I'm not the one who's leaving all the comments.
So what we're going to do in this revolutionary new format, I don't know if you've seen something like this. This is traditionally called a tier list, spelt T-E-A-R.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is.
A John McTiernan list.
We have adapted it to be a match card. So we've got Mania 41, night 1. 7 matches we've gone for on night 1.
Correct.
7 matches on night 2. And beneath, we have the whole roster in, I think, no order whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we might have to find a lot of people, and that might take a while.
Producer Adam Whitney, editor Adam Whitney, you may have to do a little bit of cutting around while we try to find people. This is more of a cue for you than it is for anyone else.
To kick us off, we actually predicted WrestleMania 41 way too far in advance.
Yes, we did.
Like 9 months ago.
Yeah, it was just after last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, and we had booked you had booked CM Punk versus John Cena
For the WWE Championship.
in the main event. My big thing was the Usos versus the Rhodes brothers, Cody and Dustin. Dustin signed with AEW, so I don't think that's going to happen.
It's a 3-count prediction for me. That's correct.
Yeah. And Pete just sort of booked 2017 NXT.
Didn't he do Owens and Zayn?
Owens and Zayn, Dragunov, Gunther.
Okay, to Pete's credit, we thought he was insane that he was booking Damian Priest versus Finn Balor for WrestleMania 41.
Yes.
We were like, that'll be well done by that point. It's only just done now. And even then, I think there's an argument to be made that we should put it on this year's WrestleMania.
Oh, no.
Well, what else we're going to have? What else we're going to have Priest do? Or Balor?
Look, one thing that's been curious for me about this Netflix start to the year of WWE is that I just figured we would get the road to WrestleMania starting then. I didn't expect that we'd have 3 to 4 weeks of sort of low effort admin. And then presumably the Royal Rumble match will be the start of all these feuds.
Yeah, well, we're in the prologue at the moment of the road to WrestleMania.
I just thought late 2024 was the prologue to WrestleMania.
That was the prologue to Netflix.
The road to the road to the road to WrestleMania 41.
Absolutely, yeah. The A roads. Now we're getting on. We're still on the A roads now, but we are making our way back to a motorway that will take us to our destination.
Because from the Netflix Raw, the only thing that was set up long term was John Cena saying, I'll be in the Rumble. And he said like a Logan Paul, did he say Drew McIntyre,
Gunther.
CM Punk, Gunther. He wanted to face those people, Cody Rhodes. But the rest of the stuff on that episode was wrapping up stuff from 2024.
Epilogue, if you will.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like
the Roman Solo stuff.
That was the epilogue episode, and now we're in the prologue of a new chapter, or a new book.
Liv and Rhea, and you're like, well, what do you do? Let's move on. And then the week after was Damian Priest and Finn. Okay, so there's actually more to get through. And then you're like, Wyatt Six need to get their win back from the Final Testament. So, okay, there's quite a lot to go through here. So I would say the only stuff we kind of have an indication of is the CM Punk favor with Roman Reigns / Paul Heyman. There is this sort of tippity top main event divide between your Drews, your Seths, and your Kevin Owenses. And on the other side, there's your Romans, your KOs, and your Codys. And then beneath that, there's Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. And there's John Cena.
Yeah, I think Dan Layton and I talked about this on the live reactions we did for the Raw Netflix debut, is WWE have found themselves in the good problem to have is they have too many main event stars or too many big stars that feel like they should be in main events. So, I made the joke earlier about Damian Priest, but honestly, at this point, I'm sort of looking, I was like, I don't know what Damian Priest does at WrestleMania, but he's too big of a guy to not be featured in any WrestleMania plans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. So should we go with probably the easiest thing to book?
Yeah.
Which is Night 2 main event.
John Cena, Cody Rhodes, WWE Championship.
So you're going to have John Cena win the Royal Rumble, and he goes, "I want Cody."
Yeah.
I'll put it on the paper. That's Cody Rhodes, and then John Cena is down here. I can see
he's the brightest color person on the screen. There you go.
So that is currently our main of main events.
I think so.
So how much are we gonna go? What WWE?
Well, the title of this video
what
is
we want to do.
Well, I mean, that's the question, I suppose. Are we fantasy booking WrestleMania way too far in advance, or are we predicting WrestleMania 41 way too far in advance?
Well, when you predict, do you go with your mind or your heart?
I'd go with what I think WWE are currently doing, or the TV is currently telling us. So,
what's the TV currently telling us?
Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross.
That feels a bit lame to put on there.
I'm not saying that is a Mania match.
Yes.
I think but what I'm saying is that is a story that they are setting up on TV. I think we can probably safely say one of the big matches on the show will be Sheamus versus Bron Breakker for the IC title, with Sheamus finally winning that belt. Because that is a story they have been telling for quite a few years, but have been really hammering home on commentary and in interviews as of late, that it is the one belt that Sheamus hasn't won.
Yeah, so I'll just put that on night 1. I'll put it like...
Match 3.
You know what? I'm going to put it as before the main event. Where are you, Bron Breakker?
This was an easy one. There he is. He's 4th.
Of course he is. He's the champ. I mean, there's part of me that thinks Sheamus is never going to win that belt. He's done a lot of interviews recently, but he always does. Like, I've not got long left. I want to win that IC title.
I did that interview with him in 2020, in January of 2020, and here we are 5 years later, and he still has not won that belt.
He's talking about how he wants to help the next generation now. So yeah, I mean, I would love that. So let's just pencil that in for now, with Sheamus winning the belt. Now the other big thing that we've sort of both talked about as well is Becky Lynch. I'm going to propose this
I see what you're going to get to.
As a main event. And I'm sure we'll look at the card and go, well, actually, Roman Reigns will take it.
I was going to say, yeah, like if this is an opening match.
Becky Lynch versus Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Yeah, for the Women's World Championship.
Ripley.
These are 2024 WWE.com renders. So she is sans belt.
So Becky Lynch wins the Women's Royal Rumble. I think we can both...
Look,
you want Io Sky.
I'm pushing for Io Sky, but... That is me fantasy booking and pushing for, as opposed to, I think, WWE, a bigger match on paper is Becky versus Rhea. It's the rematch from last year. You could do it as the opening match again on night 1, just like you. So you're literally mirroring what you did at last year's Mania.
Okay, because that was the match at last year's Mania?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it was.
But, it opened night 1.
So, okay, with that, you know what? Let's just see how it feels if Io Sky has won the Royal Rumble. So Io Sky is challenging for a belt on night 2.
Oh, I see what you're going to say here.
Yeah. And that match is going to be against Tiffany Stratton. Because, and you're going to have to help me out with where Tiffany Stratton is here. Oh, I'm looking for a blonde lady. There she is. That is her, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult with Tiffany because she is like Fallon Henley, looks different on every episode of TV every time I tune in.
So there was a period of time back in the day when WWE would actually use Survivor Series to sow seeds of WrestleMania plans that they would then get bored of and drop. This is the Triple H era. He might actually stick to those. And I really feel like one of the main talking points coming out of the Women's War Games match was Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton.
And I think you're absolutely right. This is the Triple H era. What you're forgetting, though, is you sow the seed and Survivor Series 2024 to set up WrestleMania 2026. So I think there is something in this, but is that putting a pin? And I suppose like the angle they did on Raw with Rhea, Nia, and Bayley sort of does put a little bit of a pin in or a full stop in the Tiffany-Nia dynamic.
I think Nia, there's Elimination Chamber. Nia and Tiffany can have a singles match there. They can have a singles match on SmackDown.
It's true.
We don't need to... They have pulled the trigger on the Tiffany-Nia storyline.
Yeah.
We don't have to then blow every single feud off at WrestleMania.
That's my GM thinking.
Yes. I want to send Triple H an email.
Okay. Can I now... Do you want to do the other Mania main events?
Let's put all the biggest matches we can think of.
Okay.
A lot of singles matches so far.
Which is, going to be potentially a problem. But I've got a way to fix that shortly. Mania main event, night 1, Roman Punk. Now, I was thinking about this on the train ride in today. I'm like, yeah, Punk and Roman, that I feel like that for me is the big money match to do right now. The question is how does one of them get a belt? I was fantasy booking Punk beating Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then you do Punk and Roman for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. What if it doesn't need the belt? What if this is actually one of those feuds that you say, oh, that doesn't need a world title? And it's the Mania main event. It's the biggest match, but it doesn't need a world title on it.
Can I give you my sort of fantasy booking?
Please do. That's what we're here for.
I'm not saying this will happen, but this is kind of what I've been toying with in my head when I'm going to bed at night, when I'm thinking about things riding to work. Punk wins the Royal Rumble match. He does not say who he's going to declare his shot for. The Elimination Chamber sort of runs through the whole Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, maybe not Cody Rhodes in there, but Roman Reigns in there with Drew, KO, Sammy, Seth, and Gunther. So it's like all of the people who hate each other and the World Heavyweight Champion. Roman could win the belt from Gunther there, and then Punk's like, I'll have my shot against you. So then you get Roman Punk at Mania for the title. And the favor is that Paul Heyman helps Punk win. I don't love everything I've just said. I'm just trying to find a way to get people there.
Yeah. Or is it a case that the favor is not going to be paid off for a little while?
Yeah, and they don't know what the favor is. They have booked a smoke monster.
It's the anonymous Raw GM.
Yes, yeah. Well, I like the direction of Punk and Roman. Those Survivor Series numbers, even if it wasn't the plan ahead of time, I feel like they would and should have pivoted to it.
I agree, particularly now that we're pretty set on The Rock is not wrestling at WrestleMania 41 this year.
I'd say we're not booking The Rock on this card.
I'm fairly confident that The Rock is not. Except Meltzer had originally reported it, then Sean started to say, yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well. I started to get some word that, oh yeah, no, Rock is not, because I was...
Dwayne called you.
I was asking people, I was like, is this true? And they were like, yeah, that's what we're hearing, is that Rock's not going to be there. And that is when I was hearing the chat, Punk wants to do the Roman match. Roman wanted to do the Rock match, but if that's not going to happen, Punk's looking to do the Roman match. I think this is the direction they should go.
So if Roman's busy with Punk and he's already beaten Solo, is it too soon to do Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu?
Not in my fantasy booking world where I had Jacob eliminating Solo from the Royal Rumble. Because I kind of will pitch this. I don't know what you do with Bloodline 2000 if they're not feuding with the OG Bloodline.
What about Jacob Fatu this year? Has Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner written all over him?
Oh, no, that's so accurate. That's so true.
I'm sorry.
He has got that written all over him.
Really great guy. The company wants to do something with him, but we just don't know how he fits into Mania plans.
We want to do something with you, just not now.
Yeah.
So you win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Jay did it a few years back when we want to do something with you, just not right now.
Bronson Reed last year.
Just not right now. Oh, Bobby Lashley's another one.
So before should we just chuck Solo and Jacob on there?
Yeah.
To get some ideas. I'll put them on night 2. There's Solo and there's Jacob.
Yep, nice.
Keep them on the opposite night to whatever Roman's doing. What about the larger bloodline drama as it pertains to Drew, Seth, KO?
So this is what I was going to pitch to you. I kind of need your help on a little bit of this. But what if it's a trios match? It's KO, Drew, and Seth versus Sammy and 2 other names. But I'm not sure who the 2 other names are.
Jimmy and Jay.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
What other 2 bloodline affiliated members?
Well, I was trying to just not make it the bloodline. I was trying not to just do, but that does make the most sense.
I feel like Drew is setting up a feud with Roman. I don't know if that will continue all the way through to Mania, but it will definitely bubble. So it does feel like Drew, Seth, and KO's beef is actually specifically with Roman now. Not so much Punk and Cody.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like KO runs in on the Netflix Raw match of Tribal Combat. Feels like a real waste of Seth, Drew, and Owens.
And Jay, I would say. Like, you can consider how over Jay is. I do think that it is not like... But it is a big match, though.
It is a big match.
That'd be like saying that Seth being in the tag match in Mania 40 Night 1 wasn't the best use of Seth, but like is even if he was sort of the 4th wheel of that.
How could we have that match on Night 1 and it somehow leads into something for Night 2? Could the big match be Owens versus Sami Zayn on Night 2?
No, I
don't want that again.
No, I think we do the trios match. I like your idea, though, is that you do a trios match to set up something for the following night, though. But I think we just take it to the one match and we do Drew, Seth, and KO.
Oh, I've just seen Randy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because I thought you might...
Randy could return
I thought you might do
Owens.
Randy and Owens. So, yeah, so if it is... But then who's the 4th man on the other side?
Well, I don't think even with 2 Nights of Mania, you would put all of this star power in one multi-man match.
Why not? Did you see the ladder match last year for the tag titles? Look at the star power that was in that one.
So there's where's Seth? There's Seth there. Maybe Jimmy gets dropped from that.
Of all the people to drop, it would be Jimmy.
So it's the good guy Avengers of Randy, Jey Uso, and Sammy against Seth, KO, and Drew. I feel like something needs to be on the line there for them.
I know what you mean.
And I feel like maybe it's a couple of matches on Night 2.
I don't think you want to just...
I'm putting them on Night 1, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at that as a unit. Drew, mean and sexy. Owens, mean and tough. Hey guys!
Waka waka!
Waka, I'm Seth Rollins. He has been more restrained as of late.
I actually would pitch to keep them on Night 2 because that keeps them away from Roman.
I don't mind.
And actually, you know what? No, because you can then do like run-in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to sort of follow the Roman formula for that main event.
Yeah, because they'll want to. All of these guys will want to stop Roman. Like someone like Seth and Drew will be really conflicted in this match.
Yeah.
If their new aim is anyone but Roman, that sets them up quite interestingly to be, well, that means we're pro-Punk.
That was it. It's anyone but Roman, but also not Punk.
Don't think Kevin Owens is going to be pro-Punk.
No.
Or it could be a work. Well, we've gone from not having any multi-man matches to...
Can I pitch you another multi-man match?
Go for it.
I think that we're looking towards a 4-way match for the tag titles on the SmackDown side of things.
I agree, yep.
So you can have Motor City Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, and we say Waller in Theory.
Not DIY.
Oh, and DIY. Yeah, you're right. So maybe it's going to be more than that then. Like maybe that's your big multi-man ladder match that you do.
I think Pretty Deadly, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, they all make sense.
Or do you?
But I don't know how the Street Profits really fit in there.
I think you're right, actually. You instead actually just do Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, and Say Pretty Deadly.
Yeah.
And almost try to do a TLC three-way Hardy's, Edge, and Christian, and the Dudleys.
I would love that. I mean, I love all ladder matches. I like that. I think adding the Street Profits to that makes it over-eggs the pudding.
I agree.
In terms of like what is Damian Priest doing?
I wonder if we're going to get Knight winning the belt back from Nakamura.
And then do Knight versus Fatu. Because that's the other option. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the US belt.
And just get it off Nakamura before Mania.
That doesn't feel right either, though. What are you planning, Triple H?
So there's some other people that have just jumped out to me. I also should...
Logan Paul. Who is Logan Paul wrestling?
There wasn't a report that one of the creative pitches was Paul versus Gunther.
That was a pitch. I mean, that to me screams disinformation.
I agree, but what I was actually just about to say was I'm sort of looking at some of these people, and I'm like, we haven't actually put down our current world heavyweight champion on this list.
It's because he's not booked like one.
And then the question becomes, if we're kind of, running this idea that it's Punk and Roman, but it's not for a world title, that means that Gunther is still the world champion. Who does Gunther then face?
Yeah, so maybe Gunther. I haven't just made a weird three-way there. Maybe that is on night one then. Maybe that is the pre-main event match. And it is Gunther Logan Paul.
I mean, yeah, because what else is Logan Paul going to do? If it's not going to be the Cena match.
I don't hate Gunther Logan Paul because I feel like Gunther's going to win that match. But I feel like Gunther and Goldberg is a direction, but maybe it's not a direction for Mania. It's for June for the Saudi show.
We are getting, the report is one Saudi show this year. So yeah, maybe it's Gunther Goldberg at that Saudi show. How many matches have we got left?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So we've got 5 matches.
So that goes really quickly.
But we've also got about 4 other belts. We got Belair and Cargill. I would say it's probably a match that's going to happen at WrestleMania.
Oh god damn, you're totally right. Belair and Cargill, definitely. Would it be Bianca and Naomi versus Cargill and partner of her choosing?
Jordan Grace, the new Powerbuff girls. I actually think the bigger match is doing the singles match. Is doing Jade and Bianca.
I don't feel like WWE is confident enough in Cargill.
Well, it's because she had training.
What are the New Day doing? Do you want to predict Big E's return?
I feel like there's going to be, or is it just the New Day win the tag titles? Maybe you do you have a 4-way tag match or this 3-way tag match for the SmackDown side of things. Then you do, on the Raw side of things, it's the War Raiders, Judgment Day, and the New Day. And then maybe AOP in sort of a 4-way tag match for the tag belts.
I do think you're right there in how WWE are like, we've not booked the tag division well. So let's just smoke and mirrors it with multi-man matches.
Yeah. I think that papers over a lot of cracks. Maybe it's the other team is not AOP and it's Cross and Miz.
I really like that because I really like the Cross and Miz story, but I don't see how it fits on this card otherwise.
The only thing there is that's 3 heel acts and then 1 babyface act. So maybe you want to kind of like balance it up a little bit with another babyface team, which would be Alpha Academy. Is the only other babyface team I could think of on Raw.
What's Penta doing?
Penta Ray
as a babyface match.
Just it's like, yeah.
I think Penta needs a big match at WrestleMania. Not a big match, but like a showcase match that can be focused on.
We haven't got a graphic for Penta. Do you want to just put Dragon Lee in there because they're replacing him anyway?
Yes, let's go for Dragon Lee.
He's a top rope.
So that's just Penta. Just pretend that's Penta there. Okay, so now we've got 2 matches left.
But we still haven't done the Women's Intercontinental Championship, the Women's United States Championship, or the United States Championship.
We've also not booked Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is 100% in this. Maybe she's
It's a triple threat.
Maybe it's a triple threat.
Yeah.
Becky wins the Rumble. she chooses Rhea, and then Charlotte's also there.
I think in the old days, yes, absolutely. I don't know how else you get there unless it's not Becky wins the Rumble and it's Io Sky that wins the Rumble.
Yes.
And you can do Becky Charlotte getting in there in another way. I also, I've made this pitch to you before, but it's one that I'm pretty keen on, is Green versus Piper for the United States Championship.
I like that. That's a good one. And then that sort of gets us 2 women's matches on night 1 as well currently.
Because I'm not saying that I'm all for this splitting up the team, but Chelsea Green, I think, is getting into a position now where she is just getting babyface reactions because people are into her.
Yeah.
So doing the accidental breakup splits at the Rumble where Chelsea accidentally eliminates Piper could set you up then to do Green versus Piper for the United States Championship.
You know what's funnier, though? Green versus Piper versus Jax.
It is, yeah.
Green somehow also manages to annoy Jax.
I think Jax has got WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal winner all over her.
You think? We booked 2 women's 3-ways.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I'm not into Jax being in that match. I think it's better just straight up Piper and Green.
Okay, so we've got one match left. Damian Priest needs to be on the card.
So yes, and this is what I mean, is you've got Priest, you've got LA Knight we haven't done. So there is the option of doing LA Knight and Shinsuke. Mm-hmm. There's also the option of Wyatt versus Final Testaments.
That gets a lot of people on the card. It freshens up the sort of...
Because we didn't put the Final Testament into the Raw tag match, did we?
But that means they're dragging out that feud till frickin'... That was a match that had its first match in December.
Yeah, but then it helps that they're never on TV.
Oh. There's
Carrion. Miz.
And the women weren't actually involved, were they? So it was just a 4-on-4.
Yeah, and now this way you can have the women involved and do it as a big 10-person tag.
So Scarlett's in it as well.
Yeah,
I was saying
10-person tag. So there you go. So let's now look at the field and who we haven't booked in for anything.
So we haven't
LA Knight.
We're saying Big E's not involved. We've not booked Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Bayley,
yeah, it's a shame. The new IC champion, Lyra Valkyria, is not on there.
I don't think WWE care about those belts.
Gable's not on there.
He's not been used as anything serious. Asuka could make a return by then.
I think you could possibly make the argument that once Cargill comes back and you reveal that Belair and Naomi were in cahoots in attacking her, you can then have someone else win the women's tag titles, maybe a Liv and Raquel. So you could do like a women's 4-way tag match with Judgment Day versus the Party Girls versus Jackson Candice. That gets Jax on the card. Versus... Scroll down. Who else going to pick? Versus the Unholy Union.
Yes. So what? Who do we bump then to get that on?
Honestly, Green and Piper would be the one I'd probably bump. I think that's...
Could they be one of the teams?
Yeah, I suppose
Green
actually,
going for double champ.
Yeah, I'd prefer that than them splitting up.
So, because I was never sold on the idea of them splitting up anytime soon. So, okay, we've got Nia Jax and Candice.
Where is she? Speed champion Candice.
And then who else are we going to have?
Judgment Day. So Liv and Raquel.
You've got Liv and Raquel as the champions right now. Okay, so that she's now in a big tag match. And Naomi and Belair have lost the
tag belts. I was going to put a 4th team in there. Who was the other team I said?
Unholy Union.
No, I had a better team than that.
Let's have a look.
Who did I say?
We could have a bit of damage control.
Damage control's not a bad shout.
So like Asuka and
Kairi Sane, if Kairi Sane's fit and healthy, or maybe you do Asuka and Bayley, like a damage control reunion.
We've not got Bayley there.
If you want to put them back together. Oh, I said the Party Girls, and I didn't say a big team at all.
I mean, out of them, I think Asuka, Kairi Sane makes most sense.
If Kairi Sane can be fit and healthy, then you do the Kabuki Warriors.
It's a real shit. We've not got Bayley on this card.
I know. This is my GM all over again. I always sign Bayley on my GM and then never have anything for her.
Okay, night 1 currently opens with Lynch, Rhea, Flair.
Yeah.
Are we keeping Flair?
It gets Flair on the card.
Then we have the Intercontinental Champion match, Sheamus versus Bron Breakker.
Love it.
That's good. Should we shuffle this around any?
No, I like this so far.
Match 3 is Drew, Owens, and Rollins versus Randy, Jay, and Sammy.
That I really like. The only pitch I would make is to make it an 8-man tag and have Jimmy on the babyface side. I then don't know who you put on the heels.
That's the problem. Unless Damian Priest ends up joining them, I can't see it happening. Let's keep it like that. What stip are you going to put on that?
No steps.
Then you've got let's say a 3-way ladder match, TLC maybe. New Day, Judgment Day versus War Raiders.
Yep.
Then you've got a 4-way women's tag, which has Piper and Chelsea versus Nia and Candice versus Nia. Nia, you know Nia Jax. Liv and Raquel and the Kabuki Warriors.
Yep.
Then you've got Gunther for the World Heavyweight title versus Logan Paul.
Yep. I don't love it.
And in the main event, in just a straight-up grudge match, although I don't know why they would be facing each other, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns.
What if it's Heyman in Punk's corner and you do the Heyman turn on Roman?
But why would it be the main event?
You just put them back together. Well, they're the biggest stars. That's the biggest match. You should always main event with your biggest match. Can I give you another potential pitch? I mean, doing this removes someone else, so we'd have to just, it kind of creates a different set of problems. But what if it's Gunther Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship?
No, we've done that. We've done that loads.
I know.
Where are you putting Logan?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Then you got Logan. But I don't know what I'm doing with Damian Priest otherwise.
So night 2, Penta and Ray, I think is, even though that's not the hottest match on this card, I absolutely want it on there.
And I think opening would be a great idea as well.
Then we have Jade versus Bianca. Big grudge match, no title. Solo versus Jacob Fatu. Hear me out.
Okay.
4-way. LA Knight, Nakamura.
US title.
For the US title, Solo's got Jacob Fatu in there as his muscle.
Yeah. I like it.
And you're like, the odds are stacked in Solo's favour here. But then you tell the story in the match where Fatu could have won that.
I like that a lot. That's good.
LA Knight, of course, feuding with Nakamura over the US belt. LA Knight and Fatu have interacted a bit recently. But that does turn it from a Solo Fatu one-on-one grudge match into actually they're still together by this point.
I don't hate that. I think it's a good idea.
Then we've got our Motor City Machine Guns DIY Pretty Deadly SmackDown tag match.
Yes. Yeah. For the WWE Tag Team Championships.
I really like that. This would probably go on like third, second or third.
It'll probably feature a Bubba Ray Dudley cameo.
Where are they? They're in
Vegas.
Is it Vegas?
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
Yes, of course it is.
Yeah. So it's a Godfather cameo there.
Yeah. So you've got the Wyatt Six versus Final Testament and Miz. You've got Io Sky versus Tiffany Stratton for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And as the main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena.
I'm pretty happy with that. As I said, like if I look at that roster down below, Priest and Bayley and potentially Jimmy Uso are the ones I'd be like, it sucks that I can't find anything for them. Dom and Carlito.
They'll accompany people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ludwig Kaiser. It's just not the time right now. Chad Gable and American Made. I'm kind of gutted for. AJ's injured. So that at least removes that. So yeah, I would say Priest and Bayley are the ones I'm like, I don't know what else to do with them in this current lineup we have here, and that we are predicting before the Royal Rumble even happens.
Which is where all the actual stories will presumably start.
Yeah, we'll find out how quickly this dates when the Rumble happens, or how awesome we are at predicting things.
Yeah, and hopefully you've all done better booking than us in the comments.
Yeah.
So yeah, please do show us, and maybe we'll go through it on an episode of the Raw podcast. WrestleTalk podcast. Go over there, subscribe to the WrestleTalk podcast channel. We're reviewing Raw every Tuesday, so you can keep up to date with the road to WrestleMania over there. And also go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, where Luke and I do loads more exclusive things. Currently, we're in a 12-episode series of Monday Night Raw, where we play my GM mode on 2K24 against each other. It is tense, and we both have moustaches. And we also go back and do big deep dive reviews into wrestling storylines. So we've already got the breakup of the Shield there, and Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe in TNA.
It's one of the most fun series we've ever done.
And both of those series are 20 hours long each. And you can watch them all now if you go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. But for now, thank you very much for joining us. Go over and watch another great video on this WrestleTalk channel. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. It's been Luco in DAD. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.